Work on the Panzer 38T is moving along pretty fast, almost suspiciously fast for one of my builds. Usually there's a few oops moments and a week-long break while I rethink my life choices, but this one, it's been smooth sailing so far. I ran across a video where someone used one of those leather dye daubers to create chipping effects on a model. I was hesitant at first. I mean, did I really need another tool in the stash? Well, I pulled the trigger anyway, and now I am the proud owner of a bag of 100 of them. Yep, 100. I could chip every tank I build for the next decade and still have extras. My first thought when I opened the bag was the size of the dauber. Was it going to leave huge, cartoonish chunks of chipping all over the place? Well, yeah, if you wanted it to, but here's the thing. I gave it a try, and this little dauber has officially become my new best friend for chipping. It's amazing. It makes the effect look natural, it's easy to control, believe it or not, and it turns out those 100 weren't such a crazy buy after all. The trick with these daubers is simple. Load up just a tiny bit of paint, then wipe most of it off just like you would with a foam sponge. Go in light and you'll get subtle, delicate chipping. Press a little harder and you get those bigger, heavier chips. Like I said, it's surprisingly easy to control, and honestly, it's kind of addicting once you see how good it looks on the model. Now, this thing isn't going to fully replace every chipping method out there, and honestly, you might even try it and hate it. But for under 15 bucks, and you can even buy smaller packs if you're not ready to commit to 100, it's absolutely worth giving it a shot. Worst case, you're out the cost of a fast food lunch. Best case, you've got a new favorite tool for weathering. Now, this is the step where me and the daubers officially became besties. The muffler. I went in with some of my new Atom paints, using rust tones ranging from dark to light, and started dabbing away like I was chipping. And wow, the results were fantastic. Before that, off camera, I gave the muffler a bit of a texture with some Tamiya Putty just to rough it up a bit and make it look aged. The dauber magic went on top, and suddenly this little piece of plastic looked like it had been baking in the sun for years. I'm actually going to make a dedicated video all about these daubers, showing exactly how I use them and why they've become one of my favorite weathering tools. And once I can remember where I first saw this trick, I'll make sure to give credit to the creator who shared it. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that upload. Because trust me, this little $15 bag of magic is worth a closer look. I'm really happy with how the muffler turned out. It's got that perfect rusty baked on look I was going for. I might go back and just add a bit of the base color to finish it off, just to tie it all together. The only snag? I already glued it on, which means the one weak point of the dauber shows up: its size. It's not exactly a precision tool when you're working around tight spots. Think painting with a marshmallow on a stick. Alright, that's enough about the daubers for now. Though, let's be honest, they're probably going to make plenty of more appearances in future videos. Everything is finally glued down. Yes, including the muffler. And I got a solid base color applied across the whole build. From here, it's all about the details, the weathering, and trying not to drop the thing while I work on it. I went ahead and added some chipping to a few of the pieces, like the jerry cans, just to give them that beat up, lived in look. From here, I'll just weather around the spot so everything ties together. So the cans, the tarps, and all the stowage blends into one cohesive dusty. This thing's been through it kind of finish. Before I dive into the weathering phases, I need to seal everything with a satin varnish. This time I'm using Lucky by Ammo of Mig Jimenez. Now I'm trying out an enamel filter from Ammo. It's got a subtle, oh my god, I really can't say that word for some reason, blue tint that once applied over the gray base gives the whole tank a slight bluish tone. It's a neat way to add some depth and some variation to the color, helping tone down the flatness and make the model look a bit more dynamic and weathered, all without overpowering the base paint. It made the most sense to apply that filter before doing the pin wash, because the enamel could easily pick up some of that darker wash color and drag it across the bigger areas of the tank. Doing it this way keeps the tones clean and controlled and sets me up for a much smoother weathering process down the line. I applied the filter with a flat brush, keeping my brush strokes going in the same direction for each section of the model. At first, it was honestly hard to see much of a difference. It just looked like I was brushing on slightly tinted nothing. But once I covered the entire model, the effect really showed up. The gray had this noticeable blue tone to it, nothing dramatic, just enough to change the mood of the tank and make it feel less flat. While you watch me brush on this filter, nice and slow, like I'm painting invisible walls, let's talk a bit. What's your favorite brand of kits? Tamiya, Dragon, Takom, Ryfield, maybe even something off the beaten path. Drop it in the comments. I always love seeing what everyone else is building. Back in my day, it was Tamiya, hands down. Sure, there was Italeri and Revell floating around, but for the most part, Tamiya ruled the skies. Well, Dragon also came along later. They were the kits we all knew, the ones you could actually find at the hobby shop, and the ones that didn't churn you into a puddle of frustration before you even glued the first part, like some of those Takom and Ryfields could do. If you're just starting out, I would 100% recommend Tamiya. Their kits are easy, straightforward builds. You won't lose your mind trying to get parts to fit. And the newer ones, honestly, they can be built straight out of the box. That's modeling talk for no extra parts, no resin upgrades, no photo etch wizardry, just what's inside the box, glued together, and it still looks fantastic. Now, something like a Takom or a Ryfield kit, and I hear mini art isn't much better, never built one, can be a bit daunting, especially if you're newer to the hobby. They pack in a ton of extra parts, which sounds great, until you're sitting there trying to figure out what half of them even do. And at least with Ryfield, the directions don't exactly hold your hand. They're not always clear on how or why to use certain pieces. It's the kind of kit that'll have you starting at the directions, muttering, "Wait, what?" Well, I mean, they're not that bad. If you follow the directions, you should be okay, but they can be daunting for someone new to the hobby. Weathering steps like filters and the pin wash, which is coming up next, aren't as intimidating as they look. In fact, most of what you see from me, or from any of the big modeling channels, is actually pretty simple once you know the basics. It's really just about layering, taking your time, and not panicking when it looks weird halfway through. Because trust me, it'll look weird halfway through, but that's part of the fun. After the blue filter, I hit the model with another coat of satin varnish. Yes, another coat. If I didn't, the enamel and all the cleanup that comes later would just wipe up the filter right off the areas I'm working on. The same rule would apply for an oil dot filter if you did one. With these kinds of steps, you've always got to stay on your toes. Skip the sealing and it's really easy to undo all the work you just did. Trust me, that's how modeling oops moments are born. For the pin wash, I'm using Obtulung bitume, but you can absolutely use black, which is the more common choice for this technique. I went with bitume, oh good lord, because it not only brings out the panel lines and details, but it also has that earthy, dirty tone to it. It makes the tank look like it's been through some miles, not just rolled off the assembly line. This is one of the easier weathering techniques to pull off, and again, if you sealed your model well with a satin or gloss varnish, the pin wash will glide on smoothly. Cleanup is pretty straightforward too. In my case, I just used some Obtulung thinner. Honestly, it's kind of fun to watch. Sorry. Everything to come together as you wipe away the excess and the details start popping. Trust me, it does. So that's where I'm at with the Panzer 38. In the next video, and final video, I'll be finishing up all the weathering to really bring this tank to life. Plus, I finally got my hands on the German fuel trailer from Poland, so you'll get to see me tackle that build as well. It's going to be a great send-off for this project, so make sure you don't miss it. Thanks so much for hanging out and checking out the progress on the Panzer 38T build. I really appreciate your support. It means a lot. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, drop a comment down below, and subscribe if you haven't already. That way you won't miss the final weathering video or any of the other projects coming up. Until next time, keep building, stay creative, and I will see you in the next video.